What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jay back at it again, and today we got, no wonder why Fight Club is more important than ever. I know I completely butchered that title, but I do not care. I would 100% agree. With how the internet is just progressing, with how society looks, I would say that the messages in Fight Club about young men struggling and having to develop in an oppressive, messed up system is more prevalent than ever. But with that being said, shout out to Sayo, the original creator of this video. Subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to 100K. Let's keep grinding, keep pushing. Without further ado, let's get started.
The name Tyler Durden hits different. 25 years later, Tyler isn't just a fictional character. He continues to be an icon for every young guy who's ever looked at modern life and said, "Is this it?" And there are more disenchanted, pissed off young men than most of us would like to admit. While Instagram influencers sell you morning routines, optimization hacks, and how to get rich schemes, Tyler offers something more radical. A permission to stop pretending the hamster wheel even matters. Self-improvement is masturbation, he says, and suddenly all those productivity bros counting every calorie and tracking every metric look exactly like what they are. Slaves to a different kind of consumption.
First, you have to give up. First, you have to know. Not fear. No, that someday you're gonna die.
Dang. That boy was speaking heavy.
Many of us feel this creeping hollowness. Art seems stale.
Oh, I've been there, boy. There's nights, bro. I say, as my current point in position, I'm a decently happy guy. You know what I'm saying? Making YouTube videos, both channels are going pretty well. Going to school, you know, it's the first day as I'm recording this, August 12th and all that. But I say I'm decently happy, but even then I catch myself when I'm just alone with my own thoughts, just thinking about all the L's, the losses, the pain I went through. But I just be thinking about, am I really that guy, or am I just a bum? Like, those thoughts come up, bro. Them thoughts come up when you ain't got nothing better to do, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. They will appear the moment you stop doing something, just like that. I think every guy in my demographic, aka guys like 13 to maybe 25, that late to low Gen Z, like the guys who were born from, you know what I'm saying, the end of the 2000s, like the start of the 2010s, all the way to you know what I'm saying, the just very start of 2000. I think a lot of guys can relate to that, bro. A lot of guys can relate because the modern world doesn't give guys a lot of incentives to be great.
People seem like caricatures, and society feels like it's sleepwalking into the void. We traded meaning for marketing, truth for algorithms, beauty for profit. Culture is no longer made to uplift or inspire. It's produced by committees to generate clicks, outrage, or brand loyalty. Everyone sees the same content, wears the same ironic fits, talks in the same recycled memes. It's not individuality, it's conformity in drag. At the same time, there are no longer any places where we can spend time with real people. The idea of community has collapsed.
Definitely so.
We've replaced God, truth, beauty, masculinity, femininity, nature, and tradition with consumption, virtual existence, and technocratic control. While the world pushes for sensitivity trainings, corporate slavery, and complete obedience, more and more young men are deciding to quit society altogether. Tyler channels this dissatisfaction and makes it very clear that none of this really matters. You're not your wallet, you're not the car you drive, you're not your fucking khakis. You're part of something bigger. You're in the middle of a spiritual war. Will you take up the gloves? Or will you bow your head and continue pretending that you didn't notice?
Alright, talk to me.
Tyler Durden looked at the modern world and said the quiet part out loud. Is this really it? Am I supposed to slave my precious time away just so that I can afford the latest IKEA collection? Am I no more than decaying matter, an economic unit, a soulless being created solely to be chewed and spit out by this monstrous machine of mass slavery?
Yo, this dude spin. Hold on. I'm sorry if I'm not talking as much as I usually do, but bro, this dude locked in. He spin. Hold on. Let me lock in right quick.
What about those of us who still have some fire in their belly? Tyler was not a hedonist chasing pleasure. He was something more dangerous, a nihilist with fire in his belly. He realized that the race is rigged and the game is meaningless. But instead of just giving up, he decided to send a message before jumping off the trolley. Let the chips fall where they may. And his message still resonates with millions of young men because they know exactly what he's talking about. We've all felt that Sunday night dread, that slow realization.
Yeah, Sunday night dread, bro. You know it's bad when it's a Sunday. You wake up and you already in a bad mood because you know you got work and or school tomorrow. That's how you know it's not going the way you want it to go, man.
Someone else's definition of success while our souls rot from the inside. And Tyler's message goes much deeper.
My dad never went to college, so it's real important that I go.
Sounds familiar.
So I graduate, I call him up long distance. I said, Dad, now what? He says, get a job.
Same here.
Now I'm 25. Make my yearly call again. I said, Dad, now what? He says, I don't know. Get married.
You could get married. You're a 30-year-old boy.
We're a generation of men raised.
Alright, 30-year-old boy. I know that hits some of y'all, man. You grow up, but you never grow older. Or it's more actually reversed to that. It's grow older, but you never grow up. You live through life, you go through experiences, but you still feel like a child. Because you've been coddled, right? I feel like this generation of men has been more coddled than any other generation. You're not allowed to play outside by yourself. You need to have always parent supervision. Anytime you want to do something fun, you need to sign millions upon millions of paperwork. You can't nowadays. You can't even have phones at school. You can't. They never let boys fight it out. If you in elementary school and you like to draw guns, weapons, and war, they deem you as a threat. Any type of conflict or fighting, teachers immediately step in and say, no, never fight, never have disagreements, even though the modern world is not like that. It's just so much coddling of young men. That's why young men do worse than young girls in the school system, because the way that the American school system is set up is directly opposed to the biology of a man. Young men want to go around, they want to explore, they want to do things. No, in school you have to sit down, be obedient. Always ask. Bro, at my school today, they said you have to sit down in the cafeteria. Don't stand up. Sit down. My brother in Christ, there's people in this room who are driving. People who are working jobs. People in these difficult AP honor classes. And you're going to expect them to do all that. But God forbid they go on their phone, or God forbid that they stand up in the cafeteria. Not a classroom, a cafeteria. The place where you're supposed to make friends and socialize. That's what I mean by the coddling. That's what I mean by the obsessive just be a good boy behavior. I don't understand it. I do not understand this type of thing. Because what happens when you coddle millions upon millions of men? You have a generation of boys who have not experienced the real world and have no real experience. So when they get out there, of course they're confused. Because you've been giving them training wheels since they were 18 and then just told them, all right, now you gotta go out to the real world. You didn't train them for this. And it doesn't help that a lot of these young men are being raised by just female only households, which are way worse. If we just look at any data, we can point that the average single father is going to do a better job of raising the kid than a single mother. But obviously courts are extremely biased. And ever since the welfare state was introduced, the government can essentially act like the caregiver / the husband to a single mother. So a lot of men are growing up without fathers. They're growing up without the masculine frame. So they end up usually of two ways. One, they go down the route of, softness, completely embracing their femininity, and just completely going off that type of deal. If you want an example, we can look at femboys, the guys who just go on Discord, the pretty ones, if you viewed Mouse Utopia. And the other spectrum is the thugs, the guys who are in the streets constantly because they never had a father to teach them discipline. So when you have guys in the plethora, in the millions, in that category or two, it obviously is going to create a problem. And it doesn't help that a lot of these masculine values are demonized.
I'm wondering if another woman is really the answer we need.
We've built ourselves this illusion of a safe, comfortable world, but in doing so, we've built ourselves a cage. Contrary to what popular culture teaches us through books, television shows, or movies, men have never been home dwellers, the adorers, or the passive dog shit collectors.
Men are not. If we look at any era of history, men are not passive. The same is testosterone. Testosterone as a man prevents you from being passive. It prevents that.
Warriors, rebels, protectors, providers, explorers. We were never meant to have pet cats, pajama parties, or perfect cozy apartments. We were always meant to find meaning and to follow a high calling. And modern living has taken it all away from us. Testosterone and fertility rates are in free fall. Men as we know them are becoming extinct. Feminists will say, good, the less toxic masculinity, the better. After all, men are inherently toxic. You've served your use as providers and protectors. Now either become domesticated or disappear from society.
We're still men.
Yes, we're men. Men is what we are.
The numbers don't lie. Men account for nearly 80% of all suicides while being only 50% of population. More and more
because a lot of young men just feel cheated. A lot of young men just feel done away with.
Are also struggling in terms of career and education. And it's not that men have suddenly become dumber. It's just that young men want no part of what the universities have become. The fact that Tyler Durden has become so iconic is no accident. Over the years, every place where men could go and bond has been invaded and reduced to a feminized, castrated version. Every space we've ever enjoyed has been overtaken by sensitivity trainings, hate speech laws, safe spaces, and HR departments. Men are simply no longer allowed to be men. We're only allowed to be what
or just to even have fun like that, bro.
Allows us to be a made-up Hollywood/social media caricature that matches a skewed fantasy of what a man should be. We're told that male-only spaces are inherently toxic, that male bonding is suspicious, that masculine instincts are problematic. That's why Fight Club was such a hit among the men in the film. It was the only place that allowed them to show their true selves. It allowed men to connect with one another. It was, in a sense, a male safe space.
God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. We're the middle children of history, man. No purpose, no place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war.
Iconic.
Great Depression is our lives.
Young men today are desperately trying to replace their lost masculinity with productivity podcasts, books, workout routines, Jocko Willings and Andrew Tates of the world. They try to outrun the all-engulfing emptiness and the omnipresent sense of pointlessness in 200-mile ultra marathons. But no amount of training, perfect sleep routines, or expensive cars will make up for the fact that their existence has been reduced to
You can't use external things to boost your internal. Regardless of how many cars you have, how many Lambos you own, how many baddies you can quote unquote get, how many hoes are in your DMs, how many nice clothes you buy, how many joints you collect, how nice your lineup is, how much money you have. At the end of the day, all of your happiness and worth has to come from inside you. Otherwise, you're placing your value into things that could disappear. You're basing value into things that aren't actually you. If having just material things in general made you a more happy individual, then celebrities would be on cloud nine. But we all know that's not true. I'd argue that a good amount of celebrities are just miserable, depressed. They go through drama, breakups, just like every other human is. Because they might be perfectly fine from a material standpoint, but from a spiritual and mental standpoint, they're messed up, man. They're screwed. Right? Your happiness, your why has to come from something deep. It has to tie back to family, to friends, people you care about, and things that you value. Things that you are willing to die behind and fight for. You can't have just your value be linked to things that don't matter. When you die, nobody's going to talk about your Lambo collection. Nobody's going to talk about how many hoes you had, how much money you had in your bank account. What people are going to remember is the impact you left on this earth. The friends you made, the family you had, the people you took care for, the messages you spout. That's what people are going to remember you for, man.
Fake plastic version of what it used to be. What's the point of all this endless self-improvement if in the end you feel even more detached from your real nature? Why are you trying to be more productive in a soulless consumerist system that only offers you scraps and illusions? Why are you so obsessed with your health and wellness if the only narrative to your story is being an obedient, productive worker?
Now, this isn't to say that what he's saying in this video is wrong. You haven't noticed already. I agree with a lot of what he's saying. However, I still think it's important to try. Because the only thing you have over control in this world is what you can do. That's all you have really control over in this world, man. What you do, what you choose to think, and the actions you take. I will recommend that a lot of my guys out there try. I can't guarantee you'll be successful, and I can't guarantee you'll make it, but it's better to try than to not try at all.
Why are you trying to be perfect if the idea of perfection
is never a thing?
Slavery.
We all started seeing things differently. Everywhere we went, we were sizing things up. I felt sorry for guys who packed into gyms, trying to look like how Calvin Klein or Tommy Hilfiger said they should. That what a man looks like?
Self-improvement is massive, bitch. No self-destruction.
As we know from the film and the book, Fight Club wasn't really about fighting. It was about finding your tribe. In a world where men are increasingly isolated, Tyler created something primal, a brotherhood based on shared struggle and mutual respect, and through blood and sweat. Studies show that men's friendships have declined dramatically. We have fewer close friends, less emotional support, and increasingly atomized lives. Tyler gave men what they were starving for, a sense of purpose that goes beyond paying bills and consuming. You have to know, not fear. Know that someday you're gonna die. He offered the kind of clarity that only comes from staring death in the face. And yes, Project Mayhem was extreme. That is exactly what young men crave the most after being forced to eradicate their masculinity and be acceptable, gentle, smiling sheep. The destruction of data centers that stalled credit debts.
I heard that there was a saying. Men who don't feel the warmth of the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. I heard that, bro. That's a saying, and I think it holds true. When men are, especially young men, that is, are neglected by society, they're demonized for their masculinity and overall biology. Those men are going to burn that society down. I mean, if we look at the United States, the massive amount of white wing growth among young men, the massive rise of extremism among young boys at my age has been prevalent. It's because a lot of young guys are waking up and realizing that this system was built to destroy them, or at the bare minimum suppress them, man.
Was poetic. For the first time in their lives, the Project Mayhem members had an excuse to be destructive in a constructive way. They could go to war against the system and free the people from that slavery. And it was poetic because all creation starts with destruction. Project Mayhem was not about mindless destruction for destruction's sake. Like Loki bringing about Ragnarok to destroy the corrupt gods. Like Hercules cleaning the Augean stables of filth. Like the French Revolution dismantling the aristocracy. It was destruction for the sake of replacing the rotten, oppressive system and taking a risk to create something new. Something hopefully better. The members of Project Mayhem had a chance to be part of something bigger than themselves. Tyler gave them a mission, a brotherhood, a reason to get up in the morning with purpose. Compare that to what modern life offers young men and you'll quickly understand why that was so attractive. Corporate purpose statements, wellness apps, bullshit, LinkedIn posts.
Like, you can't even say nothing no more, bro. No, you say something, you get hit with a I'm offended. I'm offended. That's why I don't go on Twitter, bro. People get offended by everything and anything nowadays. I ain't gonna lie, man.
And the hollow promise that succeeding at your career and buying the right products will fulfill you. No wonder Tyler's message is still well and alive. And here's the thing. The problems Tyler identified haven't disappeared. In fact, they have only multiplied.
The legacy of Tyler Durden. Let's get it.
Tyler Durden lives on in every forum where men gather to talk honestly about their experience. In every space where guys admit they feel lost, emasculated, and forgotten. These aren't necessarily toxic spaces. They're often just the only places men can speak truth without being gaslit. When society offers no legitimate outlets for masculine energy and frustration, men will find illegitimate ones. When you demonize male nature instead of channeling it, you don't eliminate it, you drive it underground. Tyler's message endures because he diagnosed real problems that we're still too afraid to address honestly. Male alienation, the meaninglessness of consumer culture, the emasculation of modern men, the loss of genuine community and purpose. We can call men toxic all we want, but that won't make the problems disappear. Men still need purpose. Men still need brotherhood. Men still need to feel like their existence matters beyond pointless slavery and consumption. Maybe Tyler was wrong about the solution. Maybe he wasn't, but he was dead right about the problem. Tyler didn't create the anger and frustration he channeled. He just gave it a voice. And that voice is still echoing. Now, louder.
There's a reason why Fight Club is still popular. And I don't even know. When was Fight Club released? I'm guessing 2005. $19.99. I was off by a couple years. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, this was a great video. I ain't gonna hold you. I was spitting. I was feeling like, bro, when I was doing them speeches, I felt like that dude, bro. I had to, you know what I'm saying, get my stuff off right quick, because that's what we do over here at the J channel. We don't just let the video play. We give commentary, you know what I'm saying? We give value, or do our best to give out to the original video. But yeah, man. Excuse me. Shout out CEO CIAEO. I must call him CEO. Yeah, man. Shout out my dog C, man. Appreciate it. Great video. But that's the end of this video. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and stay blessed. It's your boy Jay, and I'm